Hello, my bookish reading friends. I am very excited to take you along on today's video because I'm gonna have a much needed cozy weekend. I have a few things going on. Today I'm actually gonna go to the bookstore. It is raining and cozy and it's just the perfect vibes for going to the bookstore, and I haven't been to this used bookstore in a while, so I'm gonna go. If you're new here, my name is Shelby. I love to read. I love sharing all the cozy bookish homey things with you, and I'm really glad that you're here. So thanks for clicking on today's video and I hope that you enjoy. You probably can hear the rain through this clip. Other than that, I'm planning on cleaning my house a little bit. I'm gonna read some. Tonight we're having some friends over for dinner. Tomorrow we're going to someone else's house for dinner, but otherwise, between all the things, I'm hoping just to be cozy and read a lot, and I kind of wanted to see how much I can read in a weekend. So you're gonna just see me challenge myself to see how much I can read this weekend, but also just doing some cozy bookish things, sort of resetting a little bit, and it's just gonna be a fun time. So today is Friday. I'm excited to take you along. It's raining really hard, so I need to see how long this is gonna last because I have to take the interstate to where I'm going. I personally don't love driving on the interstate when it's really heavy rain because everybody else on the road are just crazy people, and it makes me a little nervous, to be honest with you. So I need to see how long the rain's gonna last. I might have to wait it out a little bit, but otherwise we're gonna go to the bookstore. First thing that I actually want to do really quick is look at the books that I have been saving on my TBR lists, like on Goodreads and Amazon and stuff, because I go into this used bookstore and it's really fun to look and shop around and just kind of pick things up that sound good to me. But there's always books on my actual list that I want to find used, and sometimes I forget the author and all of that. And this bookstore is organized like a library, so it has like fiction, nonfiction, even within fiction there's like sci-fi, mystery, etc. But then all the books are organized by author last name. There's more thunder, which is just so cozy. Anyway, I want to look through my list and write down actual books and authors to find, because sometimes I forget to do that beforehand, and then when I'm in the store it's just harder to concentrate. So let me look at my list really quick. Let's do a book haul. Okay, so I came home with 7 books, and I also spent right at my budget, and I am so proud because every single one of these books are used but still good condition, and I'm ready just to tell you about them because I'm excited about them. And also, there's a storm rolling in. You can probably hear my husband playing in the background. I'm gonna try to go through these pretty quickly because I want to read, and if I don't read this afternoon, I'm probably not gonna get to until after our friends leave later. So first up, I got The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is a super popular fantasy YA series. I tried this when I was in high school. I tried reading this and could not get into it, but a good friend of mine, Sarah Payton, she loves the series, and I've just seen so many things about it, and every now and then I'm in the mood for a YA fantasy, so I got it because this was used and it's in good condition, and I really want to give it another shot. So that's The Cruel Prince. One of the books that I put on my list to try to find, a lot of the books I tried to find they didn't have, but one of the books they did have, it's called The Sunshine Girls by Molly Fader. It looks like it's gonna be a historical fiction friendship type of story. It takes place in 1967, and then I think 50 years later, so there's gonna be a then and now timeline, I'm assuming. This was recommended to me when I did that reading personality testing, so I'm excited to get this. This was only $5, which is a really good deal, and I think that I'm really gonna love it. Next, I've got 2 classics. One is The Red Badge of Courage. I have never read this and I really want to. This was $3.50, and I love these, what are these, the Penguin Classics? Modern Library Classics. I love the Modern Library Classics. I just love how the spines look. And I also got Jane Eyre. Now I have a really lovely vintage copy of Jane Eyre, but it's not necessarily a book that I would pick up and read. It's kind of a decoration type of book, and I don't have a great paperback, and so because they had the Modern Library edition, got this. This was $3.25. It definitely looks used, but it's still pretty good condition, and I think that it's going to be perfect for whenever I pick up this again. I read this a few times while I was in high school, once for me and once because it was an assignment, but both times I just loved it. I think the writing is so beautiful and it's gothic, and I think this is going to be a good fall and winter read. Next, I have a book I have never heard of before. It's called The Elegance of Hedgehogs. It's by Muriel Barbary. This is translated from the French, and the cover of it really drew me in, but when I was reading about it, it sounds like something I'm really going to love. It follows two different main characters. One of them is an elderly person who works at a hotel, and the other one is a really young girl who befriends this lady. The young girl is having thoughts of, I'm not going to say the word, but I'll put it on the screen. And it seems like it's going to be a very endearing story of friendship with the two different types of ages. But what really drew me in is some of the things sound similar to my favorite book called A Gentleman in Moscow, because a lot of it's taking place in this hotel, and I loved that book so much. I feel like I talk about it almost every single video. So anyway, I'm excited to get this and to have another translated book on my shelf. Next, I have Bag of Bones by Stephen King. I have heard Ian talk about this book before, and of course I had to pick up a Stephen King. They had a lot actually, and I had to choose which one I was going to bring home. But this one just sounds like I'm going to love it. I think it's going to be a literary horror / love story, so we will see. And next I got The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith. I have actually all of these books in hardback, but I want to have them also in paperback. So I've already read this, but it's gonna go on my shelf as I slowly get the paperbacks of this series as well. I think I'm gonna go make an iced coffee. I'm gonna grab my book and sit and cozy up and read for a little bit. In about an hour, I need to clean my house and start getting ready for our friends coming over. So I'm gonna utilize that hour. I'm gonna turn my phone off, and I'm very excited to get into this book. All right, I am gonna check in. This is the next day, so it's Saturday. I'm gonna tell you what I'm reading. You've probably seen it in some clips already, but it is The Lying Game by Ruth Ware. First Ruth Ware book that I ever read was The Woman in Cabin 10. I read that when I first got back into reading. I really enjoy her writing. It's been a while since I've read one of her books, and so far this is sort of reminding me of my experience reading The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I love that book. I've actually read that book I think 2 or 3 times at this point. I have never found a thriller that hits the same way as that book. It's kind of a slow-paced, unreliable narrator type of story where you're suspicious of everything and you don't really know what's real. Slowly things unravel and there's like the big reveal and stuff happens. This is a little bit different, just feels very similar to me, and so I'm really loving it. Yesterday I started on page 84. Right now I'm on page 121. Read a couple pages this morning, so I read about 20-ish pages yesterday, hoping to read some more today. I'm about to put my phone away for a few hours. I'm gonna clean a little bit, but I guess I need to tell you what this is about. So this is following a girl named Isa. It's spelled I-S-A. I think that's how you say it. She has a group of friends from school, and they created this thing called the Lying Game, where they basically create this point system between the 4 of them where they can get other people to believe their lies, and some of it is just like stupid stuff. Some of it is not. At this point, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what's going on, which I love because it's being very vague. I guess a body was found in the beach close to where they used to hang out, and everybody is worried and we don't know why. I don't know, like, if they killed this person. We don't know who the person is that died. Like, there's a lot of things we don't know, but it's keeping me on my toes. And it's sort of a then and now timeline. It's not official. Like, these chapters are not labeled, so Ruth Ware doesn't put numbers on her chapters. She doesn't label them at all. But the then and now aspect is sort of the main character having flashbacks and memories of the past growing up in this school. What I'm really liking about this is that it is on a coast in England, so it's great for summer because you're kind of getting these like eerie beachy vibes, but at the same time there's some academia in here, so you got some dark academia vibes as well. It's really working for me because the then timeline I believe is taking place in the summer because there's a lot of descriptions of the hot weather, and then the past timeline is during school, and so it's spanning a lot of months, but a lot of it is also in the fall. So you really could read this any time of year if you're the kind of person that likes to read seasonally, but it's really working for me this summer. So I'm very excited to get into this some more today, and I'll update you when I can. Okay, it's a while later. I have showered. I'm still wearing my PJs though because I'm waiting for my clothes to dry, and I'm about to sit down and read some more of The Lion Game by Ruth Ware. I'm gonna set a timer, I think for an hour, because at that point we need to get ready to go to our friend's house tonight, and I'm gonna sit and just read for an hour, see how much I can read. I've also got an iced coffee. We usually do a French press on Saturday mornings, and there was some leftovers, so I just put it over ice with some maple syrup and some salt, and it is really good. I'm gonna get to reading. Alrighty, it is Sunday, and I am just now sitting down to read for the day. It is 3:30-ish p.m. We had church this morning and lunch, and then I just allowed myself to kind of veg out a little bit, and so now I'm finally gonna read. I am setting a playlist on my phone. I create my own reading playlist, and I will link them in the description if you're curious about them, because I have had a really hard time finding playlists that work for me. I don't like listening to music that has lyrics in it when I am reading, and I also have this thing where with certain types of books I like to have certain types of music. I have my playlist called Dear Reader that is for almost anything, but when I'm reading a thriller like I am now, I want music that sort of fits the vibe. So I have a playlist called Atmospheric that I am playing on my phone, and I am going to implement the timer method because, to be honest with you, I feel like I'm very distracted by my phone. I probably should just go put it in phone jail, but I want to listen to the music. So I am going to set a 1-hour timer, and then I can check messages if I want to, and then other than dinner time and watching a show with my husband like we do every night, I am planning to just read for the rest of the day, and I would really love to challenge myself to see how much I can do, because currently I'm on page 142. At the beginning of this weekend on Friday, I was on page 82, I think, 84. So I've read like 60-ish pages the last 2 days combined, and I would really love to read like 100 pages today. That would be awesome. Let's see if I can do it. Alrighty, it is Monday morning, and I am finally ready to close out this weekend vlog. I am on page 215. So I read like almost 150 pages over the weekend. I count that a success for sure, especially because it was a busier weekend. I thought it was gonna be chill, and I ended up not having as much downtime as I thought, and I still got a lot of reading done because I was intentional to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of shorter come along with me vlog, as I just took you along for like 3 days instead of a week or 2 weeks as I normally do. I am enjoying this still. I have been listening to it on audiobook today actually, because it is a bit heavier and darker, which most thrillers are, but because of some harder things in my personal life right now, I found myself being bothered by it in a way that I am not usually. So what I am planning to do is actually finish this on audiobook and pick up something a little bit lighter to read physically, and I'm excited to figure out what that is. It was really fun just to do a simple little vlog. I hope that you got excited to read your books from watching this video, and I am really curious what you're reading this summer, so please comment what you're reading this summer because I would love to chat with you there and to have more interactions with you in the comments of my videos. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.